Welcome to Gripping Tales. Are you ready for today's video? It starts now.
What if the roads you drive every single day are being watched by something that isn't human? Dash cams were invented to protect drivers to capture accidents, insurance fraud, and criminal activity. They're supposed to record reality. Cars, pedestrians, traffic lights. Simple, explainable events. But over the years, dash cams have captured things that defy explanation. Ghost cars that vanish through solid fences. Figures standing in the middle of empty highways that disappear when approached. Toddlers running alone on dark roads at midnight with no parents in sight. And strangers who appear at your window, screaming for no reason at all. Tonight, I'm sharing 10 of the creepiest things ever caught on dashcam footage that's been analyzed, debated, and investigated, but never fully explained. These aren't edited viral hoaxes. These are real recordings from police cruisers, truckers, and everyday drivers who captured something they were never supposed to see. So, buckle up, because once you see what these cameras recorded, you'll never look at your drive home the same way again. Let's roll the footage. On April 3, 1997, police in Garden City, Georgia, were pursuing a white Chevrolet Corsica in a high-speed chase. The dash cam in the patrol car captured everything. The chase had been going on for several minutes when suddenly, the Corsica made an abrupt U-turn and sped back toward the police cruiser, passing it at high speed. The officer spun his vehicle around to continue pursuit, but in the few seconds it took to reposition, the Corsica had disappeared. The officer accelerated, searching. Then, in the distance, he saw taillights. The Corsica was on the other side of a chain-link fence, a tall, sturdy barrier that separated the road from an industrial lot. The officer slowed to a stop at the fence, watching the taillights fade into the darkness. There was no opening in the fence, no gate, no section torn down or damaged. The fence was intact. The car had seemingly driven through solid metal. The footage went viral years later, earning the nickname, the ghost car. Skeptics propose theories. Maybe the driver hit a ditch that launched the car over the fence. Maybe there was a section of fence missing that the camera didn't capture. Maybe the car went under the fence by lifting it temporarily. The TV show Fact or Faked investigated the incident, attempting to recreate the escape. They tried launching a car over the fence. It barely cleared and damaged the top of the fence. The original fence showed no damage. They tried driving under the fence by removing fasteners. The fence collapsed entirely. The original fence remained standing. Their final theory was that the driver had pre-loosened specific fasteners, allowing the car to pass under, while the fence bounced back into place immediately after. But even this explanation felt forced. According to one unverified internet commenter claiming to be a Garden City officer, the driver was eventually apprehended and charged with DUI, but the footage itself remains unexplained. How did a car pass through a solid fence without leaving evidence? How did it happen so quickly that by the time the police cruiser repositioned, a matter of seconds, the car was already on the other side? Some believe it was a paranormal event. Others think the driver simply got lucky with physics and timing. But the footage remains one of the most famous pieces of dashcam evidence that reality might not work the way we think it does. The ghost car might have been fleeing the police. But what if something appears in front of you that isn't trying to escape? Something that's just standing there, waiting, in the middle of the road where nothing should be. In March 2023, truck driver William Church was driving along Arizona State Route 87, a notoriously dangerous stretch of highway between Phoenix and Payson. The route is known for accidents, wildlife crossings, and long, empty stretches of darkness. Church had been driving for hours. When he finally arrived home, he reviewed his dashcam footage, something he did routinely to check for any incidents he might have missed. That's when he saw it. At the 200-mile marker, standing on the shoulder of the road, was a figure. Translucent, almost glowing, the outline of a person, but not solid, more like a shadow made of light. Church rewound the footage, watched it again. The figure was definitely there. As his truck passed, the headlights illuminated it briefly, and Church could see through it. The road lines were visible through the figure's legs. He posted the footage online. It went viral. Thousands of people weighed in. Some claimed it was lens flare, light refracting off the windshield. Others said it was a reflection from inside the cab. Skeptics argued it was simply fog or mist, shaped vaguely like a person. But Church disagreed. He told Fox News, "The figure was just standing in the roadway as I passed by. Looks like you can see the lines through the legs, making the figure translucent." Route 87 has a dark history. It's been the site of numerous fatal accidents, many involving truck drivers and late-night travelers. Some locals believe the highway is haunted, that the spirits of those who died on the road still linger, appearing to passing drivers as warnings or remnants of their final moments. Church hasn't driven that route at night since. He said the footage unsettled him in a way he can't quite explain. It wasn't just that the figure was there. It was the way it stood, motionless, facing the road, as if it had been waiting for someone to see it. And now, thousands of people have. But no one knows what it was, or why it was there, or whether it's still standing on Route 87 right now, waiting for the next truck to pass. Ghostly figures are unnerving, but at least they don't interact with you. But what happens when something, or someone, appears in your path and doesn't just stand there? What happens when they come toward you? In January 2016, an Oregon State police officer was driving down a dark, empty highway late at night. His dash cam was recording, as it always did. At approximately 2 a.m., his headlights illuminated something in the middle of the road, something small, moving. A toddler. A child, no older than 2 or 3 years old, was running down the center line of the highway, arms flailing, heading directly toward the patrol car. The officer immediately hit his brakes and turned on his emergency lights. He got out of the vehicle and approached the child, who was wearing only a diaper and a t-shirt. It was freezing outside. The officer scooped the child up, brought him into the warmth of the patrol car, and called for backup. Within minutes, additional officers arrived and began searching the area for the child's parents or guardians. They found a house about half a mile from the highway. The front door was wide open. Inside, they discovered the child's father, passed out, intoxicated. He had no idea his son had left the house. The child was unharmed. The father was arrested for child endangerment. But here's what makes the footage so disturbing. The way the toddler appeared in the headlights. The way he ran toward the car. Not away from it, not scared, but almost drawn to it. And the location. A highway. In the middle of the night, miles from any populated area. If that officer hadn't been driving that exact stretch of road at that exact moment, the child would have kept running, into the darkness, into the cold, until a car going faster than the officer had been hit him, or until something else found him. The footage went viral not just because it was disturbing, but because it raised uncomfortable questions. How often does this happen? How many children wander onto highways in the middle of the night and aren't found by police? How many drivers pass something on a dark road and never know what they almost hit? And perhaps most unsettling, why do some commenters insist the child in the footage doesn't look quite right? That the way he moves, too fast, too deliberate, doesn't look like a normal toddler? The rational explanation is simple: a neglectful parent, a cold night, and a lucky encounter with a police officer. But the footage itself, grainy, dark, the child washed out by headlights, looks like something from a horror film. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. At least that child was real. Authorities confirmed it. But not everything caught on dashcam has such a clear explanation. Sometimes, what you see on the road isn't a person at all. In May 2015, a man was driving down a dark road north of Sydney, Australia, when he encountered a parked truck on the shoulder. As he slowed to pass it, a hooded figure stepped into the road and walked toward his car. The driver slowed further, assuming the person needed help, but as his vehicle drew alongside the figure, the hooded man suddenly lunged at the driver's side window and screamed. Not words, just a guttural, animalistic scream directly into the window. The driver floored the accelerator and sped away, shaken and confused. He reported the incident to police, describing the hooded man as wearing dark clothing with the hood pulled so low over his face that no features were visible. But here's where it gets worse. The driver's wife had been traveling the same road about a minute behind him. She also encountered the parked truck. She also saw the hooded man. And she also had him lunge at her vehicle and screamed. She told the Newcastle Herald, "I almost stopped before I could go around this guy, and as we went past, he just lunged at our door." Police responded and found the man sleeping inside the truck. They questioned him but released him without charges. He claimed he didn't remember screaming at anyone and had been resting. But both drivers, husband and wife, captured the encounter on their dash cams. The footage shows the hooded figure clearly. The lunge, the scream, and the fact that he targeted two different vehicles, minutes apart, in the same way. What was he doing? Was he mentally ill? On drugs? Or was there something more sinister at play, an attempt to get drivers to stop so he could rob or harm them? No one knows. The man was never charged. The incident remains unsolved. and to this day, drivers on that stretch of road report seeing a parked truck and a hooded figure standing nearby, especially late at night. Is it the same man, or has the story inspired copycats? Either way, if you're driving through rural Australia and you see a parked truck with someone standing beside it, don't stop. Just keep driving. Lunging at cars is aggressive, but at least it's human behavior. But dashcams have also captured figures that don't behave like humans at all, things that move in ways that shouldn't be possible. In Russia, a country famous for its dashcam culture due to insurance fraud, a driver captured footage of what appears to be an attempted ambush. The driver was traveling down a rural road late at night when his headlights illuminated a makeshift roadblock. Beer bottles and tree branches had been arranged across the road, forcing him to stop. Beside the roadblock was a parked car with its hazard lights on. As soon as the driver came to a stop, a woman emerged from the parked car and began clearing the debris. She moved quickly, deliberately, while a man stood nearby watching. The driver's dashcam captured something else. In the distance, beyond the roadblock, another car and a person on foot were approaching. Was this a coordinated ambush? Were the woman and man part of a larger group planning to rob or harm the driver once he got out of his vehicle? The driver didn't wait to find out. As soon as the roadblock was partially cleared, he accelerated past the woman and sped away. The footage sparked debate online. Some argued it was a legitimate breakdown. The woman's car had stalled, she'd used whatever materials were available to warn oncoming traffic, and the approaching car was simply another motorist. Others pointed out the suspicious timing, the way the woman waited until the driver stopped before emerging, the way the second car appeared just as the driver arrived. The fact that the roadblock was positioned perfectly to force a stop in a remote area with no witnesses. Roadblocks like this have been used in carjackings, kidnappings, and robberies across the world. Criminals create an obstacle, force drivers to stop, then surround the vehicle when the driver gets out to investigate. In Russia, where dash cams are ubiquitous, criminals have adapted, but drivers have too. Many Russian drivers know, if you see a roadblock in a remote area, don't stop. Drive around it if possible. Call the police. But never, ever get out of your car. Because sometimes, the person clearing the debris isn't trying to help you. They're trying to trap you. Ambushes are terrifying because they're planned. Someone intended to harm you. But sometimes, dash cams capture things that couldn't have been planned, because they shouldn't exist at all. In October 2014, a woman was sitting in her parked car when her dash cam, still recording, captured 5 people approaching her vehicle. They were wearing Halloween masks, grotesque, exaggerated faces that looked like something from a horror movie. The woman saw them and smiled. She assumed they were joking, showing off their costumes. She even rolled down her window to compliment them. "Nice masks," she said. The group stopped, stood in silence, staring at her through the masks. Then one of them pulled out a weapon. What happened next isn't fully visible on the dashcam. The audio captures the woman screaming, the sound of her car door being forced open, and the chaos of the robbery. The video shows shadows moving, the car rocking slightly, and then the masked figures running away. The woman was physically unharmed, but her belongings were stolen. A heroic bystander saw the incident and intervened, chasing the robbers and helping the woman recover most of her items. Police arrested several suspects. The masks were recovered. But the footage remains one of the most chilling pieces of evidence of how quickly a seemingly harmless encounter can turn violent. What makes the footage so disturbing isn't just the robbery, it's the silence. The way the masked figures stood there, motionless, staring at the woman through plastic faces. The way she had no idea she was in danger until it was too late. And the fact that this happened in broad daylight, in a parking lot, with other people nearby. The masks gave the attackers confidence. They knew people would hesitate, unsure if it was a joke or a threat. And that hesitation was all they needed. Since the incident, police have warned the public. If you see someone in a mask approaching your vehicle, don't engage. Lock your doors. Drive away. Call 911. Because sometimes, the scariest thing about a mask isn't what it looks like, it's what it hides. Robberies are at least motivated by something logical, greed, desperation. But some dashcam footage captures encounters that have no logical motive at all, just strangeness. Late one night on the New Jersey Turnpike, a driver named Ivan Tuktin was heading home when his headlights illuminated something strange. 2 orange traffic cones placed in the middle of the road, a black car pulled over to the side, and a man standing nearby wearing jeans and a dark jacket. Tuktin slowed down. The man didn't wave for help. didn't signal distress, he just stood there, watching. As Tuktin's car passed, he captured the scene on his dashcam. The man's face was partially visible, expressionless, almost blank. The cones were arranged deliberately, forcing traffic to slow or swerve. The black car's hazard lights were off. Tuktin kept driving. He didn't stop. Something about the setup felt wrong. When he reviewed his dashcam footage later, he realized what had bothered him. The man wasn't trying to fix anything. He wasn't waiting for a tow truck. He wasn't injured. He was just standing there, watching cars approach, watching them slow down, watching them pass. Tuktin posted the footage online, asking if anyone else had encountered the cone man. Dozens of people responded, saying they'd seen similar setups on the same stretch of highway, traffic cones, a parked car, a man standing motionless. Some speculated it was an attempted robbery. Others thought it might be someone with mental health issues. A few suggested something darker, that the man was studying drivers, learning their patterns, waiting for the right victim to stop. No one ever identified the cone man. No robberies were reported on that stretch of road, but the footage remains a reminder. If you see a random obstacle on the highway late at night, especially in a remote area, trust your instincts. Don't stop. Don't investigate. Just drive around it and call the police. Because the person who put it there might still be watching, waiting, hoping you'll be the one who stops. At least the cone man kept his distance. But some dashcam footage shows people who don't just watch from afar, they get close enough to touch your car. Close enough to see inside. Close enough to act. In Texas, a police officer was conducting a routine traffic stop when he returned to his patrol car. His dashcam was still recording. As he got back into the driver's seat, the camera captured something moving on the road behind him. Something large. Something that looked like a giant spider legs, sprawling, body massive, scuttling across the pavement directly toward the police car. The officer didn't notice. He was focused on his paperwork. But viewers who later watched the footage were horrified. A mutant spider? An alien creature? Some kind of cryptid? The truth, fortunately, was far less terrifying. It was a regular-sized spider crawling across the windshield, creating an optical illusion. The camera's angle and the spider's proximity to the lens made it appear as if a giant arachnid was approaching from behind. But before the explanation spread, the footage went viral. Millions of people watched, convinced they were seeing evidence of a monster. And even after the truth came out, the footage remains deeply unsettling. Because for just a moment, before you know it's an illusion, you believe it. You believe there's a giant spider on that road. And that feeling of primal fear, that split second of, this can't be real, lingers long after the video ends. It's a reminder that dashcams don't always capture reality as it is. Sometimes, they capture reality as it appears. And sometimes, what appears to be happening is far more terrifying than the truth. Optical illusions can be explained, but not everything captured on dashcam can be dismissed so easily. Some footage shows events that, even after investigation, remain completely unexplained. On June 11, 2014, an Australian man named Mitch Baker was driving through an evening thunderstorm. His dashcam was recording. The footage shows him pulling over to the side of the road, his headlights illuminating rain and grass. Then, as he begins to drive again, a bolt of lightning strikes his car. The flash is blinding. The dashcam audio captures a metallic clang, like something heavy and solid just slammed onto the hood. The car shudders. The video goes white for a fraction of a second. When the image returns, Baker is still driving. The car is still moving. He's still alive. He later reported that the lightning strike warped one of his brake discs, but caused no other damage. He walked away unharmed. Statistically, a miracle. Most people struck by lightning while in a vehicle experience serious injuries or death. But what makes the footage so eerie isn't just the strike itself, it's the sound, that metallic clang. It doesn't sound like electricity. It sounds like something physical hit the car, like a massive object fell from the sky and struck the hood with force. And the timing, Baker had just started moving. If he'd pulled over 10 seconds later, or started driving 10 seconds earlier, the lightning would have missed him completely. Was it random, or was there something about that exact spot, at that exact moment, that attracted the lightning? Scientists explain that cars are generally safe during lightning storms, due to the Faraday cage effect. The metal body of the vehicle conducts electricity around the occupants. But Baker's footage shows how violent and terrifying a direct strike can be, even when you survive. He's one of the lucky ones, but the footage serves as a reminder. Nature doesn't care about you. And sometimes, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Lightning is random, a force of nature. But the final piece of footage on this list isn't random at all. It's deliberate, planned, and it shows something that raises questions we may never be able to answer. In May 2009, 2 police officers were driving down a dark rural road when their dashcam captured something standing on the shoulder. The footage is grainy, old, and pixelated, shot at night with early dashcam technology. But the officers' reactions are clear. One of them points. "What the hell is that?" The other leans forward, peering through the windshield. "Is that a person?" They slow down. The figure is partially obscured by darkness and distance, but it's tall, taller than a person should be. And it's standing upright, on 2 legs. Then it moves, not walking, not running, just shifting, and then it's gone, vanished into the trees. The officers throw on their lights and turn around to investigate. They search the area with flashlights, but they find nothing. No tracks. No evidence. No explanation. Later, one of the officers described what he saw. It looked like a bear standing on 2 feet. But bears don't stand motionless on the side of the road, and they don't vanish into thin air the moment headlights hit them. The footage sparks speculation. Was this a Bigfoot sighting? An escaped animal? A person in a costume? Or something else entirely? The officers never identified what they saw. The footage was filed as unexplained, and to this day, rural police officers across the country report similar sightings. Tall figures standing on 2 legs, watching the road, disappearing when approached. Some dismiss it as misidentified wildlife. Others believe it's evidence of cryptids, creatures that exist on the fringes of human awareness, seen only by those who happen to be in the right place at the right times. But here's what makes this footage so unsettling. The officers were trained professionals. They knew what bears looked like. They knew what people looked like, and whatever they saw that night wasn't either. These are 10 of the creepiest things ever caught on dashcam. From ghost cars that vanish through fences, to translucent figures on haunted highways, to toddlers running toward certain death, to hooded screamers and roadblock ambushes, to robberies and Halloween masks, to mysterious cone men and lightning strikes and figures that might not be human at all. These recordings prove that the roads we drive every day are stranger and more dangerous than we realize. Dashcams were meant to capture reality, but sometimes reality includes things we can't explain, things that shouldn't exist, things that make us question what we think we know about the world. So the next time you're driving at night, alone, on an empty road, remember, your dashcam might be recording, but it might be capturing more than you think. Stay safe out there, and keep your eyes on the road.
Thanks for watching. Every ending hides the beginning of another tale, and ours is already on its way. Stay tuned. You'll find the next chapter right here, and soon.